What's up, people? Welcome back to Invest with T Claus. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. So where do I even begin here? Well, maybe let's start with the fact that price volatility with a project as young as Wonderland isn't uncommon. Volatility actually provides opportunity to grow your positions in many cases, but the current situation, however, isn't that for Wonderland at the moment. As an investor, evaluating your risk reward is a continuous process, and when the variables change, you have to assess whether or not you have to change as well. So in today's video, I'll get you caught up on a drama that unfolded this week with Wonderland. I'll share the latest news as of this Saturday morning. I'll also share my thoughts along the way on the whole situation and wrap up with what I'm personally doing about it and why. If you are currently an investor in Wonderland or were considering jumping in due to the recent price decline, this is a video you're not going to want to miss. Drop the video an early like if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button. Those are two easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. All right, let's get into it. All right, so what happened? Well, for a bit of background, since I realized that not everyone followed this stuff super closely, when I first introduced you to Wonderland, I told you that it was a fork of Olympus DAO. And as such, if you understood the Olympus model, it offered a good frame of reference for what to reasonably expect out of Wonderland. While the code is leveraged from Olympus, the people leading the project aren't. And that's where the drama begins. Daniel Sesta, or Dani, who you could say for all intents and purposes is the CEO of Wonderland, held an AMA on Wednesday, January 26. This was intended to discuss the merger of the Wonderland protocol and Abracadabra, which is a lending platform. Up until then, there were a few things I was willing to look past, given that I take the long-term view, and again, price decline and volatility is part of the journey in crypto. This proposal and how it was presented was a major red flag in my opinion. Now, many of us tuned in to the AMA call. There were some really good questions asked by people in the audience, but frankly, nothing I heard from Dani and his co-host gave me any confidence that things were under control. Now, keep in mind that this came on the heels of another cascade liquidation that took the price down well below the backed value. There's a lot that I could dive into here, but let me just sum it up. The proposal was to move away from the WMemo model, which they had spent the past month or more actually pushing super hard to implement. The pitch then was that wrapping your memo into WMemo would offer cross-chain flexibility, which is very similar to how GOM operates post-migration for the Olympus protocol, which by the way is great. Now, a lot of time was spent by Dani trying to emphasize that this wasn't a rescue mission and that the protocol is a huge success. If this venture was such a huge success, then why the need to pivot again? Now, to be fair, raising the large amount of capital that is currently in the treasury is a significant feat and nothing to sneeze at. That said, building a large treasury and creating value for all your investors, not just the whales or those in your inner circle, are two very different things from a success perspective. When a significant portion of your investors are down 80% or more on their positions, the last thing they want to hear about is that the very thing you sold them as the strategy to bring them value is nothing more than an experiment, and you're now proposing to do away completely with the model in favor of a new token, SPEL, which just so happens to be the token from the lending platform that has been pushed in the Discord as the medium for borrowing, and over-collateralizing the vast majority of these positions that have been liquidated over the past 3 months, leading to the severe price decline that we currently have. Are you following here? So yes, I can handle the price volatility, but that just didn't sit right with me. It shows me that either A, they're truly spiraling out of control and they're grasping at straws, or B, there's something bigger going on. Well, that something didn't take long to surface. The very next day on Thursday, Dani posted this tweet, and I quote, "Today, allegations about our team member Oxifu will circulate. I want everyone to know that I was aware of this and decided that the past of an individual doesn't determine their future. I choose to value the time we spent together without knowing his past more than anything. Many people in the world are judged by their early mistakes. This comes prevalent into the life of ex-inmates that can't get access to financial services after being felons. One of the reasons why blockchain technology and DeFi is so powerful is that it has no bias about your past. I have no bias about Oxifu. He has become a friend and part of my family, and if my reputation of judgment will be hit by his, then so be it. All frogs for me are equal. As I fight for him, I will fight for anyone else that has proven to me to be a good actor despite the past. I keep looking forward into the future rather than crystallize back. Hope you do too." End of quote. Now, on the surface, it appears to be trying to get ahead of the news, taking ownership for their decision, and standing by a team member. And frankly, I believe in second chances and that people do change. The issue isn't that Sifu is allegedly an ex-convict, or even that Dani knew and didn't tell anyone. The real issue that I have with this is that he absolutely had no intention on revealing any of this to the Frog Nation he claims to fight for. His sudden sense of righteousness and transparency only came forward because the news was going to be broken by Twitter user ZachXBT.eth, who investigates various protocols and uncovers these type of scandals. And for the record, you can see their exchange here that very morning. I'm not going to read through it all, but it's pretty clear. So to sum it up, Dani partnered with an alleged ex-convict. Once he discovered this, over a month ago, mind you, he still chose to let him run the treasury and kept this pretty important fact from the very people he claims to be looking out for their best interest, all while the value of the project was going down the drain by pretty large outflows, and all while allegedly Sifu's wallet value jumped $45 million in the past month. To be clear, again, I'm not claiming that there was any foul play here by Sifu or Dani, but the optics simply aren't great. At best, this is utter negligence. And so as an investor, you have to ask yourself, who was he really looking out for here? I have my answer, but I'm curious to know what yours is, so put that in the comments. I'll link the full story in the description as there are some details that I've skimmed over just for the sake of time. So then, where does that leave us? Well, this brings us to where we are now. In light of the revelation, Sifu is being voted out of the protocol. Voting is not complete, but it's overwhelmingly in favor of removing him from the CFO role, overseeing the treasury. Just yesterday, Dani released this note, and I quote, "Wonderland itself has achieved some big things, and the aspect of an investment DAO, to me, still is incredibly interesting. I personally believe that we should get professionals on board managing the treasury." Then he goes on to say, "It is now up to the community to decide. Do we wind down or do we continue to fight for the aspect of an investment DAO, being a revolutionary new organization?" End of quote. The proposal to wind down the treasury will be submitted for a vote, likely taking place this weekend. And to be clear, and I quote here the Wonderland team themselves, winding down will mean giving every WMemo holder back the funds from the treasury that they are entitled to and declare the Ohm Form experiment closed. We strongly believe that this would be the cleanest way of moving forward. End of quote. And so that's where we are right now. On one hand, you have Dani who wants to continue to fight the good fight, and on the other, you have the rest of the team who's basically wanting to shut it all down. This then brings us to my thought on the whole matter. The current situation is still unfolding, and these details that I've shared today are currently still only allegations, though it does appear to all check out given the admission from Dani, the post from Sifu himself in the Wonderland Discord, and the other post in the Frog Nation Discord posted by user Squirrel, who's also a Wonderland team member. For full disclosure, I personally went into this venture with eyes wide open. I got into Wonderland back in November with a very small position. It was clear to me back then that the price premium was not sustainable with such a young project, right? And that's the main reason why when I introduced you to the protocol in early January, I told you that it was a risky venture and compared it to driving above the speed limit. I personally DCA'd or dollar cost average into the project and increased my exposure with each significant price decline by a factor of 2 every single time. And so in the end, my total loss is pretty minimal, about 20% compared to what I invested. And so as it stands, I've cut my position down to just one memo that is currently staked on the Wonderland platform. And if you're wondering why I didn't fully cash out, well, it's because there's still an odd chance that they might recover from all this. In the end, my decision to mostly cut out of Wonderland is driven by the fact that the entire crypto market is down right now. My choices for maximizing returns with lower risk are much greater by stacking up Ethereum, Bitcoin, Polygon, and many others. And in the rebased token space, Olympus, in my mind, is still king. The last few points I feel are important for me to mention here, given all the time that I spent in the Discord, are this. Collateralizing your investment and using leverage isn't inherently bad. Leverage, or basically debt, if used responsibly, is a powerful tool to build your position faster. That said, it is a double-edged sword. You need to realize that there are ways for savvy investors to profit nicely, and I mean nicely, from liquidations. And so ask yourself why there was such an emphasis by random individuals within the Discord on using abracadabra for leverage after each liquidation. Last but certainly not least, people will sell you on the community aspect of things and the notion that we are all in this together. This isn't unique to Dani or the Frog Nation, so definitely not a knock here. And while it's true that a community can come together to achieve a vision, investing isn't a team sport. It may appear like it is, but it is not. Your role as an investor is to educate yourself enough to understand the rules of engagement, understand what other folks on the field are doing, assess the possible pitfalls so that you can develop strategy with multiple contingency plans. all with the sole purpose to ensure that at the end of the day, you and those you provide for financially are always taken care of. And in the event that you do take an L or a loss, it's well within the framework you had established. FOMO, YOLO investing, and blindly trusting in some random person behind a screen isn't investing. That's essentially gambling and the equivalent of playing checkers while others are playing chess. Daniel Sesta was playing chess all along, and many are still playing checkers, but to each their own. Now, as I say this, I realize that I too am just a random person behind a screen for many of you, and that's precisely why since day one, I've showed you what's in my portfolio and continue to provide you with the links to my sources so that you're able to cross-check and expand on your own research before making a decision. So there you have it. That's where things stand currently with Wonderland. Hopefully this was insightful to you, and if it was, don't forget to drop the video a like and share with others who you think could also benefit from it. For my newcomers, subscribe and don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. As I said, the Olympus migration is now complete, and sometimes next week I'll show you the easiest way to buy into that protocol. As a reminder, I'll cover my takeaways from the Tesla earning call tomorrow, so come back to that if that's of interest to you. Thank you for watching, stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.